Van kindsbeen af, met raad en saam, met lyding en hoop, verdriet en saam staan jy staan. Jy is altyd daar. Dit wat ons doen, ons liefdes, ons vreugdes, ons plekke, ons thuistes, tot daar waar ons reis, jy is daar. Afrikaans is ons wese. Dis die taal waarin ons groet, die taal is in ons bloed, is Afrikaans, vir ons mense. En ek stuur vir jou 'n sy, met 'n boodskap daarby, en waar jy is, sal jy dit kry, in Afrikaans vir ons mense. Al verander straatname, al word helde laat val, ons is steeds deur ons adem, ons kultuur, ons verhaal, dit sal altyd bestaan. Afrikaans is ons wese. Dis die taal waarin ons groet, die taal is in ons bloed, is Afrikaans, vir ons mense. En ek stuur vir jou 'n sy, met 'n boodskap daarby, en waar jy is, sal jy dit kry, in Afrikaans vir ons mense. Ons is daarmee gebore, die taal waarvoor ons staan, dit vloei deur ons are, ons kinders praat het saam, dit sal altyd bestaan. Afrikaans is ons wese. Dis die taal waarin ons groet, die taal is in ons bloed, is Afrikaans, vir ons mense. En ek stuur vir jou 'n sy, met 'n boodskap daarby, en waar jy is. Dis die taal waarin ons groet, die taal is in ons bloed, is Afrikaans, vir ons mense. En ek stuur vir jou 'n sy, met 'n boodskap daarby, en waar jy is, sal jy dit kry, en Afrikaans vir ons mense. Afrikaans vir ons mense. Afrikaans vir my mense. Afrikaans vir ons mense.
I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming, it's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Hello, folks, and welcome back to the program. This is Chris, live in central Pennsylvania on September 5th, 2024. The election is 2 months from today. Well, actually, 2 months from 2 days ago, but, you know, it's on the 5th of November. The presidential election here in the United States, just around the corner. Welcome back. It's a pleasure to have everybody here once again. Lots of developments as usual. The Chinese have made a huge splash, making a lot of attention coming their way for promising $50 billion in development assistance to the continent of Africa. Broken down over 3 years, it comes to over $16 billion per year. When you take a closer look at it, though, it's not nearly as generous as they make it out to be. And as far as foreign direct assistance in the form of grants, it's half what the United States alone does. Half. The United States does more than double that. However, it is a significant development, and people will praise China for their efforts. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk also about many other things, including, I wasn't even going to mention, it is mentioned late in the news, but since Courtney brought it up, yet another fake Republican has endorsed Kamala Harris. These people are frauds and treasonous bastards who betray the country. People like Mike Pence and Kamala Harris and Mitt Romney, and it just goes on and on. These are total frauds. And the loser white dudes for Harris, that's so sad. Folks, you don't have to like Donald Trump, but there's no way anybody in their right mind can vote for Kamala Harris. I mean, you'd vote for a doorknob first. The woman is unbelievably incompetent and has accomplished nothing. And now she is adopting policies contrary to what her policies were just a few weeks ago. She had none, but the Biden policies inherited, because she was part of that team and still is part of that team. They call for outrageously high tax rates on Americans, and she's backing it down because that's popular. Not because it's effective, not because it will address the fiscus, not because it will spark economic growth. See, this is the cynical part of it. She is adopting a 28% tax rate instead of a 44% tax rate, not because it's the most effective thing for this country, but because she can't sell the 44%, so she'll lie and still increase taxes to 28%. This is a disgusting human being, and that's what the people on the left are. They're just vile, and idiots will fall for it. Oh, well, look, she's going after the rich. Who do you think creates the jobs and endorses or invest in your economy? Oh, Sedgefield is here. Val Cooper's here. Pablo Charlie. Ants. DeBaram. Courtney McBride says Liz endorsed Kamala Harris in a non-news story. Laudy Monday in from Howick. Dylan Combrick, as always. Ulrich Fenter. Allison Johnson. Robert Rankin. Garrett Gillich. Hester Kutza. Matthew, thank you for being on last night, Hester. I remember seeing you in the chat on the radio. Matthew Dixon, I'm just here to piss off the Republicans. I don't know how you piss off Republicans. Alan Kutz, 5th of November will be, are you talking about for Guy Fawkes Day? Czarnomics of Kamala Harris, unrealized capital gains. Yeah, there's no such thing as unrealized capital gains. They're unrealized, so they're not capital gains. That is the shameful thing that Florida does. Yep. Courtney says Pennsylvania better vote for Trump. Well, it will, but that doesn't mean that he'll win the state. We have a corrupt Democratic regime running the state, and we saw what happened previously in 2016, and we also saw what happened in 2020. So don't hold your breath on that one. I'm getting, what is this, Bob Casey ads. No, thank you. I don't want a Bob Casey ad. Anyway, he is the senator from Pennsylvania that we all have to think for a couple moments and remember, who is our senator? Oh, yeah, Bob Casey. It must mean it's election year because we've heard from Bob Casey for the first time in 6 years. Well, and literally that's when you hear from Bob Casey is every 6 years. Arlen Specter, not so much. He was a Democrat turned Republican. I never trust those people fully. Well, on to the FOCAC, the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation Summit taking place in China, where the Chi-Coms are promising big things. Business is business at the bustling China-Africa Summit, say business leaders. Wearing traditional garb from West Africa. We'll buy anything from anywhere. In China, the price is right, says Abakar Tahir Musa from Chad. And from Burkina Faso, a housing developer says, we buy everything from China. Lights, air conditioning, wires. The only thing we get from elsewhere is cement. Well, that's going to help your economy, isn't it? Not. My goodness. Offshore everything. Well, President Xi has promised $50 billion. That's right. That's right, Dr. Evil. $50 billion. $50 billion. Number one? Yes, Dr. Evil. China is a key. Xi promises $50 billion for Africa. He wants to create 1 million jobs. Mm-hmm. Yes, big splash, big propaganda. Look at there. It's Cyril with his master. I love how black supremacists and black elites and white liberals all over Africa, particularly in South Africa in the academic sphere and in the fake media there, always talking about the evil neocolonialism of whites and blah, 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 blah. But it's always black African leaders who trundle off to Beijing to drop to their knees, to suck on the boots and lick the boots of their oppressing overlords from the Chinese Communist Party and then sing praises about them. Of course, they do that publicly, but they come back here to Africa. Well, I'm not in Africa at the moment. They come back to Africa, and then they go begging to the West for money while calling them racist. My goodness. My goodness. Anyway. Yeah, so that's what's going on. China's Xi is promising $50 billion, but only a small portion of that is actually foreign direct assistance in the form of grants. Most of it is loans. So here's the irony there. They're clapping now. Look at the Africans clapping there from Senegal and Kenya, cheering it on. They don't look too happy, though. Yeah, they're cheering this, but what is going to happen? China's going to loan them money, and they're not going to pay it back. And they're going to struggle to pay it back. Some will pay back, some will be forgiven eventually. Or in the meantime, China will hold immense pressure and leverage over all these African countries, and they will do what the Chinese tell them to do. That's the bottom line here. That is what is going to happen, folks. Make no mistake about it. Make no mistake about it. But the elites will have nothing to say. Very few of them will be honest. Maybe Becky's brother, the one genuine economist out there in South Africa, maybe he'll say something about it. Most of them won't say anything. But other confusing things coming out of the FOCAC summit. China will open its markets to African countries. Well, that sounds good until you read what they actually say. Oh, look, it's the dictator for life, President Xi Jinping. Yes. Yeah, he says that they're going to open up their sector. Trade. Beijing will open its markets to 33 least developed countries in Africa, which will enjoy zero tariffs on all Chinese products. So that means that they won't charge them tariffs to send things to Africa. Actually, what Africans need is something very much like the Africa Growth and Opportunity Act, in which China allows African products to enter their marketplace duty-free. That's what they need. That will give them an advantage, a competitive advantage. But they're not doing that, according to this. Well, South Africa's sclerotic, anemic, crippled economy made a slight gain recently. South Africa's economy rebounds, not really a rebound, with 0.4% GDP growth in the second quarter. Ladies and gentlemen, South Africa needs an annual GDP growth of 6.5 to 8% annually for a sustained period of time, probably over a decade, before you begin to lift people living in poverty out of abject poverty. 0.4% GDP growth is not a rebound. 0.4% is less than inflation. 0.4% GDP growth is a contraction in actual economic activity. But the Mail and Guardian runs a story calling it a rebound by Anafi Madubela. Now, I won't pick on Madubela because Madubela maybe didn't write the title, maybe the editor did. But how stupid are they? How stupid do they take us for? Do they think we're dumb enough to believe this garbage? South Africa's economy is in terrible shape. Why? Well, look no further than crime, criminal syndicates, infrastructure failure, service delivery failure, electricity issues, paying for your own security services, paying for your own electricity, paying for your own transport means because there's no rails to rely on. These are reasons why it's in a crapper. An unqualified, uneducated, functionally illiterate workforce, HIV with 8 million people, tuberculosis with 800,000 people, people missing from work all the time for treatment for sickness, for illness. Never mind the petty thieves who work for you and steal from you. Yeah, South Africa's economy is in the shitter. South Africa's economy grew slightly in the second quarter of this year. A recovery aided by no load shedding after remaining flat in the first quarter. Data released Tuesday indicate this. According to Statistics South Africa, the GDP expanded by 0.4%. Yeah, they revised that number up slightly. They initially reported 0.1. Country's had 161 days straight without power cuts and only 83 days of load shedding this year. Well, that depends where you're at. There are plenty of South Africans who have no power because of transformers blowing up, because of service delivery collapsing, because of infrastructure collapsing for the power system. We just haven't had intentional shutting down of the grid. And why? Because 6 gigawatts of generating capacity now resides on the rooftops of residences, businesses, schools, retirement homes, and clinics, not in the hands of Eskom. Speaking of that, looks like a bad day for me energy-wise. Yesterday was okay. This month, 171 kilowatt hours in 4 days. We're on day 5 now. Yeah, so that's the true story. Bongani Boloye joins Jacob Zuma's MK party. Who? Bongani Boloye. Who the heck is that? Well, I don't think anybody cares. That's the story. There you go. Mkonto Gwaza Mayobuye. Mkonto Gwaza Mayobuye. These were the first words Bongani Boloye uttered at the beginning and end of his speech announcing his decision to join the MK party cult of personality. On Thursday, he announced he's decided to deregister his party, Zuluva, with the Electoral Commission to join the MK party. The executive of Zuluva unanimously agreed that we're going to deregister Zuluva with the IEC immediately. The collective leadership will join the MK party, and the collective leaders will encourage members to join the MK party. Now, the party was absolutely annihilated in the May elections. You may never have heard of them, with good reason. Oh, my goodness. Well, let's see what goes on here. let's see what goes on here, okay? All right, this is interesting. We have black supremacists running around and white liberals attacking people over the use of language that are colloquialisms and euphemisms for things. Well, we've got a spat broken out here between Gabe McKenzie and Julius Malema. So let's see where this one goes. A minister and a bonehead. Malema being the bonehead, of course. Yeah, the IOL reports, and of course, and who else would report this but the race merchant himself, Kamerholo Mochela. Once again, when it comes to racial disparity, this guy loves doing it. That must be his beat. Racial animosity. That's what it's all about. But this one isn't about racial. This one's about personality assassination, character assassination. Minister of Sports, Arts, and Culture, Gabe McKenzie, has retaliated against EFF leader Julius Malema for referring to him as a lepantiti, jailbird. McKenzie described Malema as a cockroach. Now, if a South African, a white South African, called Julius Malema a cockroach, I'm sure that the South African Human Rights Commission would lose their mind. Never mind that cockroach has nothing to do with race. But Gabe McKenzie has called Julius Malema a cockroach. That's what he said. Wow. Now, I laugh because Malema is just a clown. And, he deserves this. Showing no respect. The tense exchange of words started when Malema made fun of the sports minister during a National Conference Council of Provinces meeting in Cape Town. That person is a jailbird and referred to him as such as not untruthful. He also stated he is one. He's proud of that. Red Berets leader rose on a point of order and refused to retract his statement, calling McKenzie lepantiti. A minister is a jailbird. He's a jailbird, and I don't have that time for that, he continued. Malema was then removed from the virtual platform. Malema should be removed from Parliament for his conduct. It's conduct unbecoming of Parliament. Calling a member of Parliament names in Parliament is unbecoming. He should be removed. However, McKenzie, who withdrew his remarks, made a hard-hitting comeback on EFF's performance in the Western Cape. I want to make it clear. I don't mind you calling me a bandit, but I want to make you aware of one thing. Here in the Western Cape, my name was on the ballot as Gabe McKenzie, and your name was on the ballot as EFF. People looked at both, but they decided to vote for a bandit. Oh, smoking, slam. Oh, Gabe McKenzie's bringing the fire. Wow. When it comes to those who attack him, particularly politicians, McKenzie is renowned for not holding back. My goodness. Anyway, so there you have it, folks. That's Gabe McKenzie and Julius Malema in a war of words. Well, Malema is the one that's wrong here. McKenzie called him a cockroach. That's hilarious. It's hilarious. Oh, my goodness. Another nothing day in Parliament. Well, chaotic social development department in Gauteng, much like the Gebera Council, returned money they didn't spend. Also like the Northwest Province, which returned money they never spend. Why? Because they have incompetent ANC cater hires running government in the bureaucracy. They're incompetent, incapable of doing their job. And then they just return money that should be spent on programs. Look, I'm all in favor of saving money for the fiscus. When I was in uniform, I would save money every opportunity I had for the U.S. government that was unnecessary expenditure. But saving money unnecessary expenditure when it comes to defense acquisition or to military operations, as long as they're still safe and functional, is one thing. It's different when your charge is to provide education or plumbing or sewage or roads and services like that, healthcare. And then you return money because you can't spend it. Money that was allocated ostensibly for a purpose. Now, it's not because there wasn't a need. They just failed to address the need. The Daily Maverick reports this chaotic situation in Gauteng. The Auditor General of South Africa has found that the Gauteng Department of Social Development did not have sufficient control of procurement and other expenditures during the 2023-2024 financial year. The department underspent its budget by 554 million rand, and they spent 6.5 million irregularly on transactions without following proper procedural processes. Well, more idiocy from the ANC government. Well, Gabe McKenzie says that the second Springboks test match will not appear on South African Broadcasting Corporation, the state-run broadcaster. The propaganda outlet will not be covering this game. They can't work out a deal between SuperSport, which has the licensing, and the begging government broadcaster. Therefore, people won't be able to watch it. Will that hopefully translate into more people listening to my program? Well, I hope so. I'm hoping for a big day because last week was very disappointing. 8,000. We had 48,000, hit 50,000 on the previous broadcast against the Wallabies in Perthfontein. I'm hoping they show up. But Gate McKenzie says it will not be on SABC, so a lot of South Africans won't be able to watch the test because they don't have DSTV. Sports, Arts, and Culture Minister Gate McKenzie says the Rugby Championship clash between the Springboks and New Zealand at DHL Greenpoint Cape Town Stadium on Saturday will not be televised by SABC. They had reached a one-off deal for the previous test, but Thursday, sources at SABC and SuperSport at midday today indicated it was highly unlikely they would strike a deal in the hours leading up to the match. That means millions of South Africans will not be able to watch. That was a one-off, but I'm talking to Cabinet soon. As government, we must play our part, he said at Freedom Park in Pretoria. These are our people. We can't outsource the interests of the poorest of the poor to corporates and businesses such as SuperSport and SABC. We are government, and we need to look after the needs of our people. Well, quite frankly, I'm sorry, Gate McKenzie, the needs of your people aren't the government interfere in television broadcasting of sporting events. That's not a government role. It's not. And you're very confused. SABC is owned by the government. They should spend the money to get the rights to license them. But they don't because they're cheap bastards because they stole all the money over the past 2 decades. So there's nothing left in the till. So that is not the responsibility of the government to fix. It's the responsibility of SABC to fix. It's the responsibility of the government to oversee that corrupt organization, another state-owned enterprise. But I disagree with his sentiment. Well, Ukrainians are outraged that South Africa has hosted a Russian Navy ship in Cape Town. This story by Peter Fabricius. The Russian Navy ship Smolny was in Cape Town. While it was in Cape Town, Russia was killing scores of Ukrainians in missile attacks. Later this month, South Africa is expected to welcome a long-range Russian bomber at Africa's largest air show. Ukrainian community in South Africa is outraged at South Africa hosting a Russian Navy ship in Cape Town while the Russian military killed scores of Ukrainians, including children, in a major spike in missile attacks over the past week. The Russian naval training ship Smolny, part of the Baltic Fleet, quietly visited Cape Town on August 29th. It left on September 1st, according to unofficial naval sources. While in Cape Town, its officers visited Simonstown to meet the senior command of the South African Navy, said the Russian Consulate General in Cape Town. During the stop, the ship will replenish water, fuel, and supplies and perform technical inspection of the ship. Well, looky there. Cape Town Mayor Jordan Hill Lewis told the Day Maverick he did not know the Russian ship had visited. Wow, that seems to have been under the radar. It's a great moral shame and stain on this government that they have given and are giving succor to Putin's Russia. The Ukrainian Association of South Africa said in a statement, embracing those who kill children is not neutrality. South Africa stopped military cooperation with Russia. Yeah, exactly. I was forced to stop training Ugandans because they proposed a law on anti-homosexuality. Not a war, not firing missiles into civilian neighborhoods. That wasn't the reason. Because of homosexuality, I couldn't provide training assistance for the Uganda People's Defense Force back in 2013, as per Barry Obama. But South Africa hosts a country that's engaged in a war of aggression, illegitimately invading its neighbor. My goodness. Where are they? Where are their head at? Where's their head at? Well, a call for a shot in the arm. Yeah, this is bull. Less than 1% of jabs are made in Africa, but these geniuses want to get more jabs made in Africa. Professor Galinda Gray has called for government investment and support to build local vaccine manufacturing capability. Aspen Pharmacare's Senior Executive for Strategic Trade Development, Dr. Stavros Nicolaou, presented a blueprint which he and Gray believe will achieve this. And I have a question for Dr. Stavros Nicolaou. Where the frick is the $711 million that we gave you to manufacture COVID jabs? Where's it at? Where are the doses that you produced? There are none. You have a plan, what, to milk us or bilk us of more money for fraudulent operations? And Professor Glenda Gray, it is not the role of government to invest and support the manufacture of vaccines. That is the role of the private sector. The reason it doesn't exist in Africa is it's not profitable. There's no money in it. No money. There are orphan diseases that are getting no research because there are so few people that get them. It's not our fault that you don't have manufacturing. You have a robust pharmaceutical industry in South Africa, yet it fails to do its damn job. All it does is copy things like erectile dysfunction drugs to give people erections. Doesn't worry about malaria. It doesn't worry about HIV. Well, it does worry about HIV. It makes antiretrovirals. But why aren't they making vaccines already? Why do you need government to invest? Aspen Pharmacare is a wildly profitable private company. Unbelievable. Well, the Democratic Alliance bid to block John Schlope's appearance on the Comic and Judicial Services Commission, an organization that unseated him, impeached him, is underway. Helen Zilla says that the DA's bid to block John Schlope from the Judicial Service Commission is a stand for values of democracy. Excuse me. That was a little hard to swallow. A bid to stand for values of democracy. Now, I'm not going to question Helen Zilla's authenticity there. I actually believe her. However, do you think it's wise to speak to the press and make a claim that you stand for the values of democracy in the current climate in which John Steenhuisen's chief of staff is accused of being anti-democratic and a monarchist? And it's not really a big deal, but it isn't. It shouldn't matter. But you've got that going on. Also, the fraudulent case against Ronaldo Khuz, which people say is anti-democratic and racist. It's not, but it doesn't matter. Perception is reality for these people. These people being the clowns on the political left. Do you think it's wise to tell people that you stand for democracy when you've got those two controversies brewing in the background right now? And it's not just that. It's also people raising issues about the DA asking for waivers for qualifications for people they're appointing, which all too much looks like patronage. I'm not accusing the DA of patronage, but other people are. DA Federal Chairperson Helen Zilla said today the party's urgent High Court challenge to Parliament's decision to send impeached Judge and MK party leader John Schlope to the Judicial Service Commission was a stand for the values of constitutional democracy. The core issue today is whether someone with a history of misconduct should be allowed to participate in the selection of judges, a role that demands unimpeachable standards. Our democracy is not just a legal battle. It's a stand for the values of our constitutional democracy, ensuring that those who hold power within our judiciary are beyond reproach. That's a fair statement, and she's right. And to be fair, misconduct. There's no misconduct on the part of Ronaldo or of Roman Kabanek here. So, yeah, but it doesn't matter. Perception is reality. Once again, the DA is not very bright when it comes to public relations. They just don't get it. They do not get it. Well, government's policy plan to restore trust in South African police will be adopted, says Zimaza Matawane. Yeah, the national policing policy set to deal with key challenges hampering effective policing is due to be adopted in less than 2 months. Grounded on building legitimacy and trust, the police service will, through the provision of quality policing services, play an effective role in protecting the public, including vulnerable groups underpinned by community-centered and rights-based groups. It will be held accountable through an effective institutional oversight system, which begs the question. The South African Police Service, SAPS, has existed since 1994. Why hasn't it been doing this before? Why has it taken 30 years for the ANC to recognize that they need an accountable and effective institutional oversight system for the police? How can you trust people that have been dingbat doorknobs for 3 decades in failed governance? This is like listening to Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma saying that, oh, if only a few of our people weren't so greedy and self-enriching. You're all that way, almost to man and woman. Unbelievable. Wow. Unbelievable. Well, folks, for high school students, for Höherschule Dunefeld, pupils suspended for racist remarks on TikTok. Now, before you get too excited, it's not what you think, most likely. The ethnicity or race, if you will, of the accused Hasn't been disclosed, but based on the language and context, one can presume, it doesn't mean we're right, one can presume that these were students of color. We don't know that, though, because the media won't tell us that. The pupils aged 17 and 18 will face disciplinary hearings on September 17th. Dunaved High School has acted immediately in line with their code of conduct and placed these learners on suspension. In a video which has been seen by more than 500,000 people by midday today, the pupils join a live TikTok chat with a man identified as content creator Uncle Sino, where one calls him a K word. The boy is heard saying, "Yo, yo, yo, what up, my N word?" Uncle Sino says, "Did you call me an N word?" The boy responds by saying, "I said you're a K. Hello, K. Are you going to post us? But you must add the part where I called you a black man." The TikToker asks if the boy wants to add anything else, to which he responds, "K." Wow. The video sent shockwaves through the country and left many people in disbelief. The department reminds parents to monitor the social media usage of their children and make sure they always act responsibly. Dear God, people don't get this upset over government protection services of Paul Mashatile beating private citizens nearly to death on the side of a busy intersection by causing chaos, running a car off the road, and beating them unconscious. They don't lose their minds over that. Outrage over teenagers using profanity? What the fuck is wrong with you people? What the fuck is wrong with you people? Seriously. It's profanity. Get over it. And I don't want to hear, "Oh, you don't understand the pain associated with that word." If words harm you so much that you are paralyzed, that you cannot function, perhaps you have a psychosis to deal with. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This is what happens when states try to censor speech. Now, the root point is that appropriate language? No, it's not. These kids shouldn't be saying stupid things like that. It's ignorance. But it's a culture thing. You allow those kids to listen to rap music that uses words like that. And then you cry crocodile tears that they are outraged. Shut up. What the fuck is wrong with you people? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Sent shockwaves through the country. What kind of morons are you people? And they're going to sanction these kids. Now, here's a good one. Now, I'm not calling for this, but let me raise this point. Where is the South African Human Rights Commission? These kids said this on a live broadcast today. Just a few years younger than Ronaldo Khuz was a few years back. Using the K word. Oh, where's the Equality Court and the South African Human Rights Commission now? Running off to Uppington to deal with this dangerous case of teenagers saying the forbidden words. Now, of course, that's ludicrous, but so is the case that is before the Equality Court now that's being pressed by the South African Human Rights Commission against Ronaldo Khuz. It's also ridiculous. Racism has no place in our schools and our communities. The word saying it is not racist. You moron. Fundamental, you're a moron. Gee, many crickets. It's the application and context that matters. It's an offensive word. It's not racist. Good God. He added, moreover, each and every one of us as active citizens of South Africa, as leaders of change in our country, need to speak out about racism. Frickin' robots. You know, Soylent Green is people, too. Soylent Green is people. Vandermeer assured the public that the department would closely monitor the case's developments and provide the necessary support to the school. Meanwhile, 2 teenagers were raped. Oh, that's not important. That's not important. Got to worry about someone using the K word. This learner was born in a free and democratic South Africa, so this is unexpected. It's shocking. It's disappointing. It's hurtful that he can spew such remarks. This needs the attention of the authorities at the highest level. Cannot be tolerated, said Joy Maimela. The chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Basic Education condemned it as racist derogatory. Oh, shut up. Shut up, Joy. Go sit in a corner. Grow up. Man, bunch of wusses. We have raised generations of wusses the world over. call me names. Oh, gotta arrest him. Oh, put him in jail where he'll get ass raped. Oh, that'll be fair. He deserves that for using a K word. Good God. Good God. It's a woke school, Kurtz, not just woke media. These morons. Now, the hate wankers will come after me like, oh, look, he doesn't take it seriously. I do take it seriously. You don't censor speech. People use unacceptable terms. You shun them. Nathaniel Hawthorne had a book called The Scarlet Letter. For adultery, because communities that were deeply religious in New England shunned people who committed adultery. Women had to sew a big red A on their clothing to show they were an adulteress. And they were shunned. Nobody associated with them. No one would buy from them. When people misbehave. Now, I'm not saying adultery, but I'm just telling you what happened. Those were social norms then. It's unacceptable. It's inappropriate to run around using the K word, especially saying that something like that, or the N word. But it's not a criminal offense. To criminalize speech is the action of a coward. And I don't want to hear, it's like Germany. They ban Mein Kampf. They ban Nazi symbolism. They're cowards. They're cowards. Now, they could have made an argument that it could have been banned for a period of time because of the intensity of what just happened. But today, 70 years after the frickin' Second World War, it's still banned. Wow. These students are suspended over that TikTok live stream. Now, here's the funny part. I never said the K word. I've never said the N word on a TikTok. But my TikTok live stream was shut down because I said China. And people didn't like what I had to say. So they falsely reported me and shut me down. And that's why I don't bother to live stream on TikTok, because it's a fraudulent platform. But these kids said all that and it was okay. They appeared in a video from Duneveld High School. Wow, these people have lost their freaking minds. It's unbelievable. Well, let's go. Let's get ready to rumble. See, Kolisi shows once again he's a true warrior. Hey, hate wankers. Hey, race hustlers. Hey, scumbag shitheads. Are you listening now? Are you listening now? This is me once again for the umpteenth time saying good things about Sia Kolisi. But you get your panties in a bind because I once upon a time genuinely, accurately criticized his performance as the captain of the British and Irish Lions. Can you read between the lines, hate wankers? Please read between the lines. And I'm not giving you sign language here. It's universal. Sia Kolisi, despite a broken nose, will play in the Springboks game. And why is he doing it? Because if he went and got the nose straightened, unlike Quagga Smith, leaving his crooked, but if he went and got it straightened, then he would miss this game plus 2 more weeks. So he's going to play with a broken nose. Imagine he's probably wearing a face mask. It'll look like, something out of Halloween. And then he gets 3 weeks to recover. Wow. What a warrior. What a stud. Kolisi had the option of resetting his nose and being laid off for 3 weeks, or playing now and fixing the matter in 2 weeks. And Rossi says he didn't hold off in training sessions. He played hard. We thought that he had a broken cheekbone, but it turns out he's a broken nose. Wow. At the team meeting today at the Cullen Hotel, said that Kolisi could either have his nose sorted quickly and sit out for 3 weeks, or play through it and have his nose reset in 2 weeks. My goodness. Now, of course, that was... I love how they say Sia's head made contact with Sam Cane's shoulder. No, Sam Cane speared Sia Kolisi with his shoulder in what should have been a red card incident. Yeah. Jonathan DT, I'll pause from the news and address your thing here. First off, how could Helen Zille and Tony Leon be against apartheid yet support Israel's apartheid? Well, first off, there's no such thing. Stop misleading people. I've covered this endlessly. Everyone that lives in Israel is an Israeli citizen if they're born there. Everyone an Israeli citizen, Arab, European, Christian, Jew, Druze, Muslim. All of them can own property. They have standing in courts. They have labor rights. They have civil rights, free speech. Can serve in the military, serve in court, serve in police, serve in government. Over 100 Arabs have served in the Knesset in the history of Israel. A third of them have been Muslims. The rest were Christian Arabs. There's no such thing. That's a lie. That's a lie. It's a misuse of the term, and it disgraces and degrades what apartheid really was. Stop doing that, Jonathan. That's not true. Detail how that is apartheid. Tell me how it is. Separate development. And by the way, what inclusive development do the Palestinians want? The Jews were evicted from Gaza 15 years ago. Jews who lived there for thousands of years in Gaza had their homes taken from them, and they were forced to relocate into Israel proper when the Palestinian Authority was given control. The Palestinians didn't want or tolerate any Jews in their presence. The only way they would take over control of Gaza is if the Israelis evicted the Jews and the Christians who were there, because there were Christians as well. Where is that story at? Where is that at? You want to talk about apartheid? That'd be the Palestinians. They're the ones that don't want to live with anyone else. Their leaders anyway. They evicted the Christians and Jews, thousands of them, thousands from Gaza 15 years ago. Had their homes just ripped from them. Like the 13 million Germans who had their homes ripped from them when they were evicted from Ostpreußen and Schlesien and Pommern and the Sudetenland und Jugoslawien und so weiter. Überall im Osten. Yeah. Utter nonsense. Well, PRASA will be extending services so that people can get to the stadium. Train service extended for Cape commuters amid the highly anticipated rugby match at DHL Greenpoint Stadium in Cape Town. Yep. Lesotho, Gambia, and Ghana all vying for a key position in the Commonwealth, the British Commonwealth. Yep. Candidates from Gambia, Lesotho, and Ghana will vie for the Commonwealth Secretary General post. The 56 members, more than a third of them come from Africa, will vote in October at the next Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Samoa. Yep, thanks to a regional rotation, the next Commonwealth General Secretary will come from Africa. Well, there you go. Career diplomat Joshua Sitepi from Lesotho, Gambia's Foreign Affairs Minister Mamadou Tangari, and Ghanaian Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration Minister Shirley Akore Bochowe are in the running. I'd say elect the guy from Lesotho. He's the youngest, and hey, Lesotho, why not? Right. Bobby Wine shot. We reported in the story. It was initially that he was hit by a smoke grenade canister, but now his supporters are claiming he was actually shot. Shooting of Bobby Wine to stand up against Museveni's bloody rule, stand up for human rights. In this article, the platform by African Democrats. All freedom-loving people are appalled by and strongly condemn the shooting of Ugandan opposition leader Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, popularly known by stage name Bobby Wine. He was at an event in Kira outside Kampala when the crowd was targeted by Uganda security forces. Multiple tear gas canisters were fired, including several into his car. One exploded against his leg. He was helped into a car and taken to Nasambie Hospital where his personal doctor works. Security forces were filmed leaving the scene in a vehicle. Wow. So they go on to target the United States and the West for doing nothing about Bobby Wine, but Ugandans need to do something about it. Now, unfortunately, folks, I've talked about this horrific story of this young lady, an Olympian, who her scumbag lover lit on fire, dousing her with petrol. She has passed away. Ugandan marathoner. Ugandan Olympian athlete Cheptegei dies after being set on fire by her scumbag boyfriend. 4 days after she was set alight by her boyfriend in an attack in her home. It was the latest horrific incident of gender-based violence in East Africa, where activists have warned of femicide epidemic. The 33-year-old long-distance runner died at 5:30 in the morning. The doctor treating her in a hospital in Eldoret in western Kenya told reporters. Her injuries were extensive and covered most of the parts of her body. It led to multiple organ failure, said the head of intensive care. We tried our best, but we did not succeed. Looking at her age and the over 80% burn she suffered, the hope of recovery was slim. According to police, a man identified as her partner, Dixon Dima Maragach, doused her with petrol and set her alight Sunday at her home in Endebess. Kenya media reports said her 2 young daughters had witnessed the brutal assault. Oh my God. What a sick fucking bastard. What a bastard. She has 2 children and they witnessed their mother being set on fire. This is Africa. Y'all want to bitch and moan about the United States and bitch and moan about what people don't do to help your lazy asses get off the ground on the continent? And this is the shit that goes down? Female genital mutilation, gang rape, raping of toddlers to get rid of HIV, chopping people apart with machetes, burning people in their homes, ethnic-based violence, racial-based violence. Africa is a very violent continent. Very violent. And that's not hyperbole. That's experience. Sadly, unable to intervene, watched people twice in my time living in Monrovia. Crowds of thousands. Murder. Suspected criminals. Suspected thieves. Murder grisly. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But the world is full of racists. There's evil white people. Wow. She'd just taken part in the Paris Olympics. She came in 44th in the marathon. That moron got 30% burns on his body. It's not the first time we had a Kenyan long-distance runner or Ethiopian runner who was murdered a couple years ago by her boyfriend. Unbelievable. Well, Burkina Faso in West Africa, which has skipped out on the Economic Community of West African States and said, piss off, be gone. Well, Burkina Faso has new passports without the ECOWAS logo, which were on all the passports of ECOWAS members. So they've gone forward with it. Burkina Faso has launched new biometric passports without the logo of West Africa's main political and economic bloc on their cover, further signaling its determination to withdraw from the regional alliance after military leaders overthrew the elected government in an illegitimate coup. Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, three neighboring states now led by military juntas, jointly announced that they were quitting and creating their own organization. On this passport, there's no ECOWAS logo, no mention of ECOWAS either. Since January, Burkina Faso decided to withdraw from this body. And this is just a realization of the action already taken by the junta in Burkina Faso. Well, there you go. It doesn't really matter much to you and me, but it is an issue. Malaysia, good for them, is upping the ante in the South China Seas against the Chinese communists. Malaysia says they'll not stop South China Sea exploration despite China's protest. Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim said on Thursday the country will not stop its oil and gas exploration in the South China Sea despite claims by Beijing that Malaysia was infringing on its territory. Hey, newsflash to the communist. It's not your territory. It's international waters. Do you understand the words coming out of my mouth? International waters, not China. Your 9-dash line is fiction, fantasy. It is bullshit. Malaysia standing up to the Chinese communists. Not like the wuss Joe Biden, but more like the Japanese and the Koreans who stand up. Good job. Good job. Well, New Zealand has crowned a new queen. And the New York Times makes a claim that they don't substantiate. Oh, say it ain't so. The New York Times with its propaganda. Here we go. New Zealand's Maori name a new queen. Nga Wai Hono I Te Po, 27, is the second woman to assume the ceremonial role. She takes the throne as some of the country's pro-Maori policies are being pared back. So I searched this article frantically to find where those pro-policies are being taken back. Not a single word of it in this entire article. Oh, here it is. My apologies. They've scrapped the Maori Health Agency and been pushing to abandon other policies that benefit the community, which has higher incarceration rates. What are the other policies? What are the other policies, Victoria Kim? Victoria Kim, what are the other policies? And how is scrapping that health agency, which was ineffective and duplicative, how did that anti-Maori? Well, that's the New York Times. Police in Munich kill an armed man during exchange of fire near a museum and the Israeli consulate. Police in Munich exchanged fire with a man today, fatally wounding the suspect in an area near a museum of the city's Nazi-era history and the Israeli consulate. According to police spokesman, officers alerted a person carrying a long gun in the Karalinenplatz near downtown Munich at 9 a.m. Then there was an exchange of shots in which the suspect sustained fatal injuries. There were no indication that anyone else was hurt. There's no immediate information on the suspect's identity. The man was carrying an old make-up firearm with a repeating mechanism, died at the scene. So, of course, Munich is known for the 1972 murdered Israeli athletes at the Olympic Games. Will we get more details on who it was? Was it a deranged Bavarian? Was it a terrorist? We don't know. We'll find out. Emmanuel Macron finally names a new prime minister. Yes, after 2 months of deadlock after the snap election, a united government of France will now be formed under the EU's former Brexit negotiator, Michel Barnier. President Emmanuel Macron has named the European Union's former Brexit negotiator Michel Barnier as France's next prime minister. The 73-year-old led the talks with Britain from 2016 to 2021. It took them 5 years to negotiate departure. It took them... That's ridiculous. Sounds to me like he's not a very successful guy, and you want him to be the prime minister. Well, Russia sends a stern warning to the United States after the United States sanctions Russian media for election interference. Woo! Meanwhile, we've got ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, New York Times, Atlanta Constitution Journal, Chicago Sun-Times, Los Angeles Times, Washington Post, all running propaganda, propping up and promoting illegitimately the candidacy of Kamala Harris, interfering in our election. But hey, let's focus on the Russians. Hey, Zuckerberg admitted to interfering in an election, but hey, let's focus on the Russians, who affect virtually nobody because nobody's stupid enough to go for their cartoon character nonsense. Russia warns response to U.S. sanctions on RT, the Russian broadcaster, will make everyone shudder. Moscow's claim new measures against media networks' top editors are part of an information campaign before the U.S. presidential vote. Russia said it will take retaliatory measures after the U.S. announced sanctions against state-funded media network RT. Washington's actions against RT, editor-in-chief Margarita Simonyan and her deputy Elevitsia Broditskaya, was an information campaign. Authorities resort to such primitive ways of influencing their voters. This has declined in liberal democracies. Now, that's interesting that Russians are saying that because it's not exactly a liberal democracy, but it's 100% correct. There will be a response. They're accused of funneling $10 million to a Tennessee-based company that used social media influence to create and distribute content to U.S. audiences with hidden Russian government messaging. Hidden government Russian what's the hidden Russian government messaging? So the Russian government's not allowed to lobby Americans for a better view of their country? D.C. is full of companies that lobby on behalf of Israel, lobby on behalf of South Africa, lobby on behalf of China. There are all kinds of companies, but Russia can't do it? Well, the New York Times also says Republicans are seizing on false theories that illegal immigrants are voting. And of course, they use the typical language when they say this. Activists, party lawyers, and state officials are mobilizing behind a crackdown on a supposed scourge of non-citizens casting ballots. Voting rights advocates say the effort is spreading misinformation. Say it isn't so. According to Alexandra Berzon, in late July, a group of Republican activists met on the Zoom call to discuss preparations for November election. That's pretty scary. The topic was how to keep undocumented immigrants from voting in November. That's scary. So we don't want people who are criminals in this country and have no citizenship to not vote? What radical these Republicans are. They are dangerous anti-democratic forces. They don't want criminal aliens who have no business in the country from voting. Boy, shame on them. A problem they claim inaccurately to be a looming threat to the fair election. Well, and here's the magic words, there's no indication that non-citizens are voting in large numbers, and yet the notion that they'll flood the polls and vote overwhelmingly for Democrats is animating a sprawling network of Republicans who mobilized around former Trump. So, Alexandra Berzon, your point is that we should wait until it happens. Then we'll have evidence of it happening, and then we can be concerned? You're a freaking moron. You're a moron. You're a sensationalist. You're a leftist liar. There, you've had it. It's bullshit. There's nothing wrong with addressing election security before an election. Dipshit. The U.S. government just did that by banning a Russian publisher, RT. That's okay for you. There's also no evidence of widespread interference by the Russians, ever. No Macedonian server farms, according to Hillary. Where are they at? Russian people paid for $5,000 worth of ads in 2016. What the hell is that? No evidence. They're cooking it up. So, this is so obvious, this hatred of America and the truth. Well, Kamala Harris finally accepted debate rules were 5 days away from this event. I plan on covering it. It should be interesting. Harris accepts debate rules for September 10th, showdown with Trump, including strict microphone controls. Earlier, she said she didn't want to do it, but now she's going to have a debate with Donald Trump. Vice President Kamala Harris has accepted the rules for September 10th. The letter from the Harris campaign, obtained by the Associated Press, confirmed acceptance of the rules, marking a conclusion to the negotiations over microphone muting, which for some time had threatened to derail the debate. both Harris and Trump want the microphone not turned off. Trump said, I prefer that, but I'll go with the rules as they were set for the first debate. So here's the first debate, of course, was a sleepy Joe Biden, and, he was comatose. Now, here's the problem. I think that Donald Trump has the most to lose here. Now, that's going to sound, counterfactual, but I think he has the most to lose here. If Kamala Harris comes off as able to even chew gum while she's talking, it'll be good for her, because Americans who are honest know that she's about as bright as plywood. She's just dumb as a box of rocks. She's unaccomplished other than hiking up her heels. That's the only thing that she's accomplished at. So if she performs at all, it's going to be a miracle and will shock people. And that's why Trump has the most to lose. Shouldn't attack her personally. Stay off her ethnicity. Nobody gives a crap about the fact she's a fake black woman. We know she's a real black woman now, because she's hanging out with y'all. And now I'm using that right language because I'm hanging out with my brothers and sisters now. And I go into that accent just like Hillary did, because I was a real black woman. Yep, that's what she does. Yeah, so just don't even focus on that. Focus on the policy. And when she comes back with, well, I propose a 28% tax. No, you don't. That's a gimmick you just came up with in advance of the debate because you know that you can't sell a 48% tax rate. And it's not for the good of the country. You're just doing it to win an election, which is fraudulent. But Trump will adopt, according to the Wall Street Journal, Elon Musk's proposal for Government Efficiency Commission. Okay, another body. Trump plans to outline a suite of economic proposals in the speech today, including introducing a Government Efficiency Commission recommended by Elon Musk, taking an even more aggressive swipe at regulations than during his first term. The commission would conduct a complete financial and performance audit of the entire federal government and make recommendations for drastic reform. There you go. Well, he's speaking at the Economic Club in New York today, and Kamala Harris is in Pennsylvania, boring us. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Courtney, if you're still here, here's the big news you were talking about. You ready for this? You ready for this? Liz Cheney, a top Republican Trump critic, says she will vote for Harris. Who saw that coming? I never imagined that was going to happen. She's going to vote for Kamala Harris? Oh my gosh, it's all over. The race is over. Quick, folks, let's go cry. The Wyoming Republican, once a member of the House leadership, lost her post and then her seat after she voted to impeach Donald Trump following the January 6, 2021 attack on the Capitol. Former Representative Liz Cheney, once a high-ranking Republican from the state with no population, torpedoed her political career by breaking forcefully when former President Trump said Wednesday she would not be voting for him. During an event at Duke University, Ms. Cheney told students that it was not enough for her to simply oppose the former president. She intended to do whatever necessary to prevent Trump from winning. Well, let's see, Liz. They tried to assassinate him. They tried to put him in jail. They've tried everything under the sun. What are you going to try, Liz? What's in your quiver? What you got back there? What are you pulling out? What are you going to pull out of your quiver to shoot at the Donald Trumpster? Liz Cheney, you are a fraud of epic proportions and not a Republican. Stop lying. Ford, Coors, and other brands retreat from their gay rights index and a victory over wokeness. Human Rights Campaign used a ranking of companies to advance same-sex benefits, giving special privileges to some employees. And now an activist is using the index to pressure CEOs. When Ford scaled back its diversity initiatives, it called out one organization by name, the Human Rights Campaign. The automaker last week told employees it would stop providing workplace data to gay rights lobbying group, which spent decades persuading big companies to embrace policies hospitable or advantageous and preferential to lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer employees and customers. Other companies dialing down diversity initiatives this summer said they would distance themselves from the Human Rights Campaign. Harley-Davidson, the Tractor Supply Store, Brown-Forman, Molson Coors all said they'd stop working with it. Human Rights Campaign is in retreat. Finally, this woke organization seeking special privileges and advantage for people based on their sexual orientation is getting a smackdown. It is long overdue. Well, Harris breaks from the Biden outrageous tax rates, and she says it's only 28% instead of the 44.6%. Oh, okay. But let me just tell you one thing about the Harris campaign. First, we're going to win. Yeah, okay. Yeah. All right. Vice President Kamala Harris proposed a new tax rate on capital gains at 28%, higher than the existing level, but lower than what Trump or what Biden. So what you want to do is steal from retirees capital gains by increasing our taxes by 30%. Hey, fuck you. Screw off, Kamala Harris. Well, Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we have a school shooting, and once again, authorities have failed to take the threat seriously. It turns out that the Federal Bureau of Incompetence was notified about this school shooter a year ago and didn't take it seriously. Local law enforcement also failed to take it seriously. The same with the situation when soldiers at West Point informed their chain of command that one of their own was acting erratically and they were concerned about his behavior. The Army personnel referred him for psychological evaluation and determined that he needed care. Transferred him to a civilian facility who was responsible for him because he was a reservist. They discharged him without taking action, and people died. And now they try to blame it on the Army Reserve, which is BS. In almost every one of these shooting cases at schools, we continually find evidence that people knew about this. Law enforcement knew about it. Schools knew about it. And they did jack shit to prevent it from happening. And then they want to blame rifles for it. Assault weapons. There's no such thing as an assault weapon. It's a rifle. They want to blame the rifle. As if there wasn't a person pulling the trigger. A demented wackadoodle doing it. A person ignored by authorities. And once again, we have 4 dead now because authorities didn't do their job. They want to oppress us by taking firearms away from citizens, a constitutionally guaranteed right to prevent an oppressive government from oppressing its citizens. Rather than do their damn jobs when people have psychological issues. By the way, we waited a year for the manifesto of the transgender shooter. That was covered up. It's come out recently. It's just a diary. Why is it, ask yourself this question, every one of these people, the dude who shot Trump, this school shooter, the Army reservist, every one of them, within minutes of the shooting and the identification of the shooter, within minutes, their entire social media presence is gone. Now, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I'm going to propose a conspiracy here. Is there a government organization at the Federal Bureau of Incompetence or somewhere else that's responsible for scrubbing the social media presence of those who commit these crimes? Is that what's going on here? I mean, we're talking about young kids. Do you know any teenagers that don't have TikTok or WhatsApp or frickin' Facebook or Instagram? Give me a break. None of these kids go without that except frickin' Amish. That's it. They've all got it. And if they don't have it, it should strike you as odd that they don't have a social media presence. And how is it that every one of these shooters suddenly has no social media presence? 4 dead in Georgia. The teen charged with killing 4 at Georgia High School had been a focus of earlier tips about threats. More than a year ago, tips about online posts threatening a school shooting led Georgia police to interview a 13-year-old boy, but investigators didn't have enough evidence for an arrest. I didn't say arrest him. I said put him in a mental institution for evaluation. On Wednesday, that boy opened fire at his high school outside Atlanta, killed 4 people and wounded 9. He's been charged as an adult in the deaths of Appalachia High School students Mason Schermerhorn and Christian Angulo, both 14, and instructors Richard Aspinwall, 39, and Christina Emery, 53. At least 9 other people, 1 teacher at school, were injured. He's taken to a regional youth detention facility today. Armed with a rifle, the teen turned the gun on students in a hallway when classmates refused to open the door for him to return to his algebra class. So they wouldn't let him in his algebra class, and he opened fire. There's something wrong with someone like that. Why wouldn't the Georgia Bureau of Investigation do their damn job? The FBI do their damn job and submit him for mental evaluation. You know, they want red flag laws to take guns away from people illegitimately. From law-abiding citizens when a disgruntled spouse says, oh, they're a threat, he punched me, he hit me, which is a lie. Or they complain to the neighbors, hey, that guy, you know, he's erratic, the stuff he does. And they come and they take and confiscate your guns and leave you disarmed so that people can break in your home and rape and murder you in the night. That's what they want to do. And they're creating these red flag laws, which are unconstitutional all over the country. But they don't bother to do a psychological evaluation of a 13-year-old teen who threatened a school shooting in this environment. This is negligence. Negligence of the highest order. It isn't the gun that's responsible. It's the Georgia Bureau of Investigation and the Federal Bureau of Incompetence that are responsible for this school shooting. They are accessories before the fact. Unbelievable. Accessories before the fact. That's what they are. It's unbelievable, folks. Wow. This is just nonsense. Keith says the 77th Brigade is responsible for this. Social media scrubbing. All right, let me get back to the chat. Last time I chatted, I chastised Jonathan. I don't know if he got upset about that. Wasn't really chastising. I was just being honest about something. Oh boy, you guys have been chatting quite a bit here. I can't find where we were at there. Courtney says, long past the time we have a female president. Okay, so I'm going to pose the question if Courtney's still here. Why? Why do we have to have a female president? Why do we have to have a black president? Why do we have to have an Asian president, a white president? It shouldn't matter. We should have the best and most effective person president. If that's a one-armed American Samoan, 400-pound Paralympian, then so be it. The Tulsi Gabbard is a wackadoodle. I don't want to see her anywhere near the presidency. Monterey Sieberts, good afternoon. From Cape Town. George is in from Heckport. Richard says we can't pay it back. Moonchild, how you doing? Party that's going to grow. They've broken out of the Zulu vote, appears by election. Yeah, no, I think you're right, Patrick. That's MK Party winning amongst the Tswana in Northwest. Yeah, it's interesting. Kuwait is okay. Has a bigger national sovereign wealth fund than South Africa. Yeah, yep. Nearly $1 trillion under assets. Yep. Under management. Val Cooper, love him or loathe him. Gate McKenzie speaks his mind. He does. He does. What's he got to lose? Teresa, Hendo, Matthew, as long as everyone votes for Harris, USA will do well. Sure, Matthew. What else? In South Africa, money tends to get returned not because of incompetence and spending, rather just failed to work out how to embezzle it. Says Keith. That's good. Can someone please explain to me how we can still have the squirrel as president? Yeah. Paula, he's still there. National broadcasters should broadcast national team playing for free. Is that your position, Debbie? I don't agree. Are we buddies with Russians now? Yeah, of course they are. Marxist supremacists only watch GDP all damn. What's this? Kuwait? Okay. What else we got here? We need vaccines against stupidity. Agreed. Talk about getting priorities hard and wrong. Clearly focus on money train for meds. Yep. Outfiltration station is back from Bunker 42. Someone still backing Open Society set up and financed by George Soros. I have no idea. People said that all along. I never saw those comments. Kuwaiti investment activity has invested in Volkswagen, Porsche. Well, Porsche is part of Volkswagen. It's the Volkswagen Audi Gemeinschaft, and they own Porsche. Well, there's also got shareholders from the family. The Shard, Herrick's okay. In the Shard, that building, wow, that's a cool looking building. But God forbid the glass ever fall. That'd be horrific. Middle East is far ahead of Africa, even in their company. Yeah, it is. That's true. Grammar politics. Grammar police. What else? The K word, I use all the classics. I got over name calling when I left kindergarten, says Sean. Yep, what a bunch of pinko fascists. Agreed. Yeah, Zimbabwe had 0 sanctions when the Matabele were massacred in the 1980s. Yep. That's true. Everyone wanted to go well. Margaret Thatcher washed her hands of it. She's done. Lancaster House Agreement. It's not my problem. You're a tar, baby. Handle it. Yep, everyone looked the other way. Oh, there's the comment from Jonathan, 1239. Just found it. What else? Pablo says, I asked him to be respectful in the comments, so please not today. I will sweep the floor with you. You guys knock it off. Okay. I asked everybody to be respectful. Yet idiots went on and on about BLM, a continent so far away, couldn't give us stuff. Exactly. But where are the marches in South Africa over this woman being burnt alive? Now, think about this, folks. She had petrol poured in front of her children. The horror that must have gone through her mind as he lit her on fire. And then the agony she suffered. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 4 days of pain, Horrible. Ben says too much shouting. Okay. Sorry, Ben. Fun Sale Boyson says, Africa, you can just shake your head. People virtue signal on fake Roman cock, but the massacres of so many murders. Yep. Yep. Tian, how's it going, Tian Engelbrecht? Almost looks like the writer from ESCOM. Yeah, he does kind of look like Andre the writer. The whole mainstream media is misinformation, says Patrick. Yep, I think that's probably true. George, welcome to George74. And then who else we got here? Dylan, still there. I like consistency theorist. He makes more sense over Alex Jones. Oh, conspiracy theorist Chris. Matthew likes me over makes me over Alex Jones. Thank you for that, Matthew. Appreciate that. Best person for the job. Colonel Wyatt, how is it possible that Cape Town mayor cannot see a Russian warship? Well, it was in Simonstown. It was there for a day or two. I mean, there's just a bunch of ships there. It's not like the mayoral committee has people driving around the Cape Flats and Simonstown and Gordons Bay and Hout Bay looking to see what's there. Now, if a warship showed up in Hout Bay, that would definitely be different. But there's a naval base there. It's a Navy ship. They're all gray. I mean, the Russian flag is tiny. I mean, somebody probably noticed it, but I mean, I could see how he would know about it, especially when the ANC hit it from him. Yeah, I think that it's a bit shocking, though, because while one would argue that that's not Cape Town, and that's a fair argument, but knowing the geography of the Western Cape and the greater Cape Town metropolitan area, the office of the mayor in Cape Town ought to have liaison with that naval base and with Langabang, with the air base nearby. They ought to have a liaison, and they ought to be briefing the mayoral committee every week about ship visits, about personnel coming and going, the numbers. That's just common sense. Our military bases do that. They interact with local government. We even do that. We're abroad. We did it with German Burgermeisters. The base commander would have to go meet with the German Burgermeister's staff weekly, at least. So I'm a bit surprised he didn't know about it, but I can understand why it doesn't happen. It's South Africa. I think that's the answer there. Going good, grafting hard, hoping that the rand dollar comes down to 15. No, I hope it's going the other way, man. It makes it easier for me to get to South Africa. Has a Cornet heading for the Philippines arrived? Cornet or Corvette? I don't know, bystander. Western Cape is being invaded by Russia. We need to call a referendum right now. Pablo Charlie, that's a good one. That's a good one. The Western Cape is being invaded by the Russians. The Russians are coming. The Russians are coming. The Russians are coming. Yeah. Anyway, the video I did this morning probably not going to get many views because people really don't care. Yeah, it's not getting many views. I'm just taking a look at that. Oh, wow. A whole 243 views. Seriously? That can't be right. Wow. The suppression on my channel is unbelievable. Yeah, 243 views. That's it. I put a lot of time and effort into assessing what's going on there, but nobody cares. I purchased from Fender in the U.S., so it's to be an unbiased. Fender, what's that, a guitar maker? I don't know. Or Freddie Fender, the musician. Anyway, there you go. Wow. Crazy weather with snow on Table Mountain and warm, sunny spring vibes in Pretoria. Yeah, it is a bit strange, isn't it, Tian? But it's not to be unexpected. It's climate change, brother. It's climate change. That's right. Cape Town. There we go. Climate change. You got to love it, folks. You got to love it. 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 Anyway. It is a guitar brand. See, I'm not an expert in that field, but I got it right. YouTube are pushing the smaller channels between 200 and 600 subs, recently, maybe just on my YouTube feed. Yeah, I've noticed that too, bystander. They're not doing anything for mine. No, but the suppression, I'm just not to moan about it, but I mean, so the video that Mighty Jamie did, he only has 29,000 subscribers. I say only, I have 18,500, but so I have 2/3 of the subscriber base that he has, okay, or half, over 2/3 of his subscriber base. Yet in the first hour that his video was up, it had 2,200 views. Mine has 4,000 after a day. It shows you. I bet his has far more now. So mine's at 4,200. It's not really going anywhere. 4,300, excuse me. 4,275. Yeah, so Yep. Leo Fender, established 1945. Okay. All right, Tian. Okay. The Boca were enjoying Table Mountain today, climatizing after all their travels. How do you know that, Debbie? Are you down in the Western Cape right now? Mighty James reacted to me in the comments. He said he's more of a liberal than Ronaldo. Yeah, I saw a comment there, Pablo Charlie, that I think was put in there by Nick Rose posted, and he put me in there with my same thing. I thought somebody was coming after me, and he used a subjustice term there, and then the guy said you're using it inappropriately. So whatever. More liberal than Ronaldo. No, he's not liberal. He's a Marxist. He's not a liberal. There's a difference. Yeah, he's a Marxist. He doesn't believe in liberalism. If he believed in liberalism, he'd believe in innocence before guilt and proving guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. That's what a liberal would believe in, not a Marxist. A Marxist believes in prejudging. And Mighty Jamie has prejudged Ronaldo. He starts out his video saying, but let me go ask him, see if he's willing to take diversity and equity training and repent for what he's done. He hasn't done anything inappropriate or wrong. It's just the people who've done something wrong are the IOL. And they've already been adjudged to have done something wrong by the press council. The press council found them guilty of breaching the press code on 4 occasions. And quite frankly, if I was a law enforcement agency and this was a criminal matter and I was investigating, I suspect with the power of a warrant and seizing computers, emails, and things like that, and communications logs, we might be able to prove that the press code was breached on more than 4 different counts by IOL. I can't prove that. But supposition, I would suspect, given the nature of how this rolled out, it seems entirely plausible that that's what actually happened. So, yeah. Yep. So there you go. It was just a complete ambush. It's not even remotely professional. How I would have handled this is I would have been like, well, wait, wow, look at that, man. There's Ronaldo over there. I walk over and say, hi, Ronaldo. Can I see? First off, can I sit down? May I join you? Didn't even have a common courtesy. He says, you watch this video, and the link is in my video. You can go watch it. And he says, I think I was respectful. Really? You just came over, pulled a chair out, and sat down? I've never done it to anybody. No matter who it is, may I join you? May I use this seat? No manners whatsoever. And don't say I'm quibbling because he's the one that said he was respectful, not me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have mentioned it. And then he interrupts Ronaldo all the time. He asks him questions. He makes statements instead. And then the questions that he says are the reason why he went to talk to Ronaldo, he never even asked the question. He never asked the question to Ronaldo, why did you state publicly that this was a deep fake or artificial intelligence when that's clearly not the case? It's a fair question to ask. And as I said in my response, I don't know the answer. I suspect the wrong terminology was used in the haste of having to answer this question. But we do know with undeniable certainty that an edited video was used, a portion of the video. And that's the problem. That's what these wokies do. They use portions of videos and comments. If they don't have to alter them, you can take anything out of context. Swiss tech will last decades. I wonder how long South African tech would last, maybe 10 years. Val says that mighty prick was rude and disrespectful. He was. Ronaldo is not a pod bro. He's a member of parliament. Notice in my videos I'm saying MP because he's a member of parliament. And people don't like that. Tough. Julius Malema is a member of parliament. I cannot stand Julius Malema and I have horrible things to say about him, but I wouldn't just walk over and pull up a seat. First off, his thugs would probably beat the hell out of me. Lilo has a black helicopter over her house. Be careful, Lee. Go to your hide room. Go to your safe room. Yep. Stuff mighty Jamie. There's nothing mighty about him. Well, yeah, Moonshot, I think you're right about that, but he'll get lots of attention. Let me go see in fact, let me go read those comments on his channel. Let me see that video. So, mighty Jamie. Let me find this. We'll find it. It's on right now. At MIGHT. Mighty Jamie. Let me go there now. He's got 8,700 views. And
very jarring, provocative. But towards the end, he actually accepted all races.
He accepted all races? No, he didn't. He's a public servant, so he must answer. Not to ambush like that. He wants to interview in your white jacket. So, Mighty Jamie, it was a pleasure meeting you at the airport today. I hope you landed safely. Loving the content, says somebody. Big ups, Jamie. Confronting the man head on, racist, way too comfortable in our country. Yes, you are. You're way too comfortable. Well done to you. This is the journalism we deserve, but we do not get. It's not journalism. It's sensationalism. Looking forward to your video where you chase down Julius Malema and call him out for saying horrible things. There you go. That's well said. That's why you're Mighty Jamie. I love the way you helped yourself to a seat. Yeah, that's just rude and disrespectful. That was seriously awkward. Major kudos to you for having the guts to confront him. I'm scratching my head wondering why you didn't just seize the chance to apologize. To apologize for what? Because you morons judge him guilty because you're too lazy to watch the video. This level of journalism what the country needs right now. No, it isn't. He honestly doesn't have to apologize. The problem was with something is that we have allowed ourselves to be brainwashed into thinking that after 94, those guys' feelings towards us changed. Oh my God. This guy's a racist of the most highest order here. Look at this. This is paintbrushing millions of people. You're just sick. Zero remorse. And he reeks of, it says Rex, but it means reeks of arrogance. There's no arrogance here. The arrogance was on the part, these people are just dumb as box of rocks, man. Why does the DA defend these people? Nobody's defended him. So you're a moron too there, trauma queen. This just shows you he's not as remorseful at all. It shows he doesn't even realize how serious what he did was. It shows you how stupid you are. Wow. This is an echo chamber here. Oh, somebody says sensationalism is very strong here. This is beautiful. Hold him accountable. Accountable for what? And if Ronaldo Jose didn't want to speak, you forced yourself on him. That's true. This guy, Jamie, should have obtained permission and when not given, should have stopped filming and interviewing. The protection of personal information further reinforces the importance of respecting individuals' personal information, including their images. A person cannot also broadcast someone else's image to earn money like a YouTube channel. In addition, the Regulation of Interception of Communications, Provision of Communications Related Information Act, RICA, prohibits recording conversations without consent. This interviewer could have handled the situation more professionally. Just for his interest, is Jamie South African? Does he have the appropriate visa from Home Affairs to be here? Perhaps Home Affairs should check into this. Anyway, that's the nonsense going on there. It's just ridiculous. I mean, yep. Bystander says, I've been absorbing so much information of recent times, censorship, tech, AI, X, politics. I just switch off and tune into your streams videos to catch up, avoiding the overload. Well, thanks, Bystander. I appreciate that. I do address all sorts of things, whether it's the South African Macadamia Nut Association, interviewing Steve Hofmeyer, standing up for the Forum for Democrats, that Swana-based political party, giving you cultural tours of the Basutu Cultural Village in the Free State. Take your pick. I cover it all as best I can. I was just going through my drive today because my solid state drive, which is my C drive, was getting a bit loaded up. I was down to 220 some gigabytes. So I moved videos I produced this year because everything from this year had been in the folder for the software on that drive, resident there, so it's quicker to access, but it's getting slow. And 160 videos in 8 months. I've produced 160 videos in 8 months this year. In addition, all of my live streams, which are almost daily, plus impromptu ones, plus the shorts I've done. So 160 prepared videos, which require research, time, effort, energy, and checking my facts, plus doing the analysis, 160 of them. So I started moving over before this broadcast and trying to clear up some space on the drive onto a removable media. And that took some time. But I'm down to, I think, 40 some or something like that now. And they're all from August and September. Yeah, let me just see if I can find them real quick. Here we go. It's just, for some reason, this folder is taking a long time to get to. I don't know why. Lisa, thank you. Watching Parliament. That was very amusing. Masters of Begging Administration. All right, I'm down to 45 items. That's August and the ones I've done here in September. I've actually done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in September. So I did 35 prepared videos in August. 35. I did more prepared videos on events around the world, but particularly in South Africa and Africa, than I had days in the month. Wow. And Richard says, that's what I was thinking. Okay. Yeah, everybody keeps saying he's Zimbabwean. Is that true? He's actually a Zimbabwean? It shouldn't matter. I mean, I'm not a South African. I cover South Africa. I don't really care if he's Zimbabwean. But if he's living in South Africa and working there, he better have, if he's not South African, he better have the approval. Yep. Just on that Jamie video, he accidentally mentioned the names of the current race baiters. Quite a few of them are radio presenters and TV presenters. Oh, I know, John. I know. And I said in a video, he just mentioned a list of black content creators and media journalists or content creators too. Just anyway, so I just kept that neutral. I didn't mention them by name. But yeah, he violated all kinds of things there. Journalistic professionalism, the Poppy Act. I don't know about the REEC Act. I don't know about that. But yeah, just very unprofessional. Very unprofessional. What else we got? Ever since it took power, we're a failed state. That's true. Hey, Harley Quinn, how you doing there? One source just seems easier. Well, but it just bystander, challenge me if you don't believe something. Don't just buy into one source. But I always tell you where I get my information from if you ask. And oftentimes I offer it whether you ask or not. So many hijacked buildings have been found. They found that Libyan camp near White River. It's really refreshing to see government work and the primaries. It is, Tion. It's good, but it's parts of government. It's episodic. It's not the entire government that's working right now. It's where the PA and ANC guys are at. I don't know what's going on in defense because our friend General Bantu Holomisa is the deputy there under 30% Angie. So I don't know what's going on. Pablo Charlie, yesterday I was attacked for mentioning Jamie in the comments, and now everyone's talking about it, nobody gets attacked. Why Chris Wyatt, why always me? I told you. Dude, stop whining, okay? Good Lord. I don't know what you're talking about. Yep. No, he didn't violate any law. He was clever. The guy he asked to hold the phone violated privacy laws. Yeah, but he's complicit in the act. You can be an accessory to the act. So he can be charged as well, Arctic. Yep. And the guy did it on his behest. So consider that. And it was his filming. So he can be charged. Now, the fact he didn't hold the phone doesn't. It's like, it's like saying that, well, Hitler's not responsible. He didn't pull the trigger. No, that's not true, man. That's not true. Anyway, it's, that's just not even cool, Look, it's one thing to be on the runway and approaching, actors and going, hey, what about this? What about your affair? I mean, that's sensationalism. You expect that for entertainment. It's not right, but you expect it. But ambushing somebody like that is not cool. First off, it's so disingenuous. The guy's a lawyer. I thought he was a law student. Apparently they say he's a lawyer. You're a lawyer, and you're going to make the point that, well, he needs to be interviewed. He refused to interview. Why is he doing interviews? Hey, moron, he's in a lawsuit. You shut your mouth until the lawsuit's over. Bystanders is not having a hit at you, Chris. I just need to avoid my phone and tap into your streams to keep updated. No, I didn't take it as a hit. That's very, very, very generous of you, and I took it very much as a compliment. No, thank you for that. No. I'm just saying that, I don't encourage people just to, it's like the people. Alex Jones, the only place I go for news. Okay, but I'm not crazy like Alex Jones, although he gets a lot of stuff right. Privacy laws don't work like that. When it was asked the guy to stop filming, he violates privacy. Okay, Arctic. I'm not a legal expert, so I'll take your word on that. But I can't imagine how that could possibly, how you can possibly love you guys. Okay. I can't imagine how that could possibly be acceptable. That the person is not responsible, doesn't bear guilt for. I mean, that's like saying that Julius Malema is innocent in the petrol bombing of a Click store, when he's the person that called on his followers to go out and attack the stores. He incited the violence, even though he didn't participate in it. So, I mean, I can't believe that's how the law is written. That's pretty odd if that's how the law is written. It's very ineffective. But then a lot of South African laws are very ineffective or not enforced or selectively enforced. It's pretty scary what goes on out there, folks. So I started going through my rugby jerseys. Ooh, that's a Herculean effort. And I'm categorizing them. I've got so far... well, yeah, restraining order, yeah, but that's going to cost time and money. Just ignore it. It's the best thing. I'm just saying the guys, I'm not looking for an outcome, just exposing his fraud, So I've got Springboks jerseys category. Then I've got South African club jerseys. Those are Currie Cup or Super Rugby or URC. That's 2 categories. Then I've got World Cup jerseys. That's 3. Then I've got polos. That's the 4th category. And the 5th category at the moment is miscellaneous. Probably be broken into more categories as I find out how many jerseys I have. And that's like my Ulster jersey, my Major League Rugby jerseys. And I've got 5 piles, and I've only scratched the surface. And I've probably gone through about 20 or 30 jerseys. So I'll let you know how it goes. It takes time. Selectively enforced. That's right, Charles. That's the right term. Yeah, 50,000 for a restraining order, or 500 to get some big boys to have a nice chat. Oh, what do I think of the Buck squad? Is it announced? Yeah, it is. Let me look at it. I saved it earlier, but I haven't looked at it. Okay, so here we go. Villy LaRue's back in there. That's good. Kane and Moody. All right. So Villy's at fullback. I like that. Jesse Creel and Damian De Allende, the dynamic duo. Chuz and Colby. I think the backfield, that's all great. And Andre Pollard is getting the start. Aha, I called it correct. I said Pollard was going to get the start. Well, it was either Pollard or Sasha. All right, so Pollard gets the start. Let me see. This is looking like a really good lineup so far. And, wow, this is a very good lineup. Let's see. I'm really happy about this. Okay. Okay, so Villy LaRue at fullback, Kane and Moody on the right wing, Jesse Creel and Damian De Allende at inside and outside center, Chelsea Colby on the left wing, Andre Pollard at fly half, Grant Williams at scrum half, love it. Jasper Wiese at 8, Peter Steph Dutoit 7, C at number 6, I'm worried about his broken nose. Number 5, Ron Nordkia, good, and Eben Etzebeth at 4. Franz Malherbe, Bongia Minami, and Oxen Che in the front row. That is excellent. Off the bench, let's see what we got. Malcolm Marks, Gerhard Steenekamp, and Vincent Koch. Yeah, Vincent Koch has been brilliant off the bench. So is Malcolm. But Malcolm's also great starting. Then you got Quagga Smith wearing the 19 jersey, which would normally indicate he comes in for a lock. Elric Lowe wearing 20. Jaden Hendrickson, I'm not happy about that. Nope, not happy about that. That one I'm not cool with. And Sasha Feinberg, Ngumzulu off the bench, and Lucanio Am. Okay, I can go with that. The only thing I take exception to is Jaden Hendrickson. It's just not the lock. He's not the scrum half. Nope. How do you feel about the so-called try? Oh, Lee, I talked about that on Megaphone Rugby. That's with MV Velman. And I talked about it during the game. Are you talking about Bongia Minami's try? I don't think it was a try, but it was a knock-on by Barrett, so we would have gotten the ball back. But anyway. Yeah, this should be an excellent game. And since SABC is not covering it, that means millions of South Africans can't watch it. So hopefully I'll get a big audience. C is back, which is good news. Yeah, but he's got a broken nose, so I'm a little bit concerned about how that goes. Nothing happened to Julius Malema and Felicia. I don't think something will happen to Mighty Jamie. Oh, no. Look, stop, folks. I mean, I'm not calling for any action. I'm not saying there's any criminal activity. I'm just saying it's bad form. It's not journalism. And these idiots on commenting this video, this is how journalism should be. It's not journalism. It's harassment. It's anyway. It's hectoring. It's harassment. It's what it is. It's harassment. Yep. Solid team, but Kolisi going to have a big target on his nose. Well done for playing. Yeah, no. Major props to Sia Kolisi. And, of course, the leftist hate wankers won't bother to cover this. They'll just say that I'm a bigot and a racist because I actually had the audacity to criticize Sia. Look, if you're not a big boy or a big girl and you can't put your big boy, big girl pants on and be honest about people, including criticizing when it's appropriate or when you think it's right, then you're not a real man. You're not a real woman. You're just a coward. And that's who people on the left are, cowards, the far left. I was perfectly correct and appropriate in my criticism of Sia Kolisi after the British and Irish Lions series for his captaincy, how he disappeared at times. And also, I think once or twice in a season since then, I've said that he seems to disappear at times. But I've been mostly very complimentary to Sia Kolisi throughout his time as a Stormer, not as a Shark, as a Stormer and as the Springboks captain. So they can go stuff themselves. Flow Rugby, 69 a year, 99. Well, I was paying $69, and they charged me $159. I don't know what the hell's going on there. So I don't know what's going on. I got to double check my Flow Rugby subscription. Yep. Yeah, VPN. Yeah, you can do that, but it's not going to be smooth flowing. March like the FF and MK ground forces. They're not ground forces. They're just clowns. Yeah, but I don't pay for a VPN. Arctic. I should only be paying the $79, $69 for, that's what I paid previously for Flow Rugby. That's affordable. That's a good deal. I mean, I can watch all kinds of crap. I mean, right now I can go watch replays of stuff right now. Let me get Flow Rugby. So let me see what's going on here. Pumas and Cheetahs battle for the final Curry Cup semi-spot, and they got a picture of the Sharks. 3 o'clock in the morning, it's Bay of Plenty versus Manawatu tomorrow, and then the Griquas versus Western Province, then the Lions and Griffins. So those games, nothing coming out of that. It doesn't matter. But it's the stuff on Saturday that matters. So let me go to my account. Okay? Let me my subscription. Annual plan, pro yearly. Status. Doesn't give me next payment November. Doesn't tell me how much I paid. Anyway. I've had this account since 2018. Since before I left the Army. Wow. Anyway. Yeah, so, yeah, Flow Rugby, I mean, look, they sucked for a while, but they've gotten so much better. I stream it in 2 TVs, and it's smoother than DSTV. 59 is Flow for all sports. Okay, but I didn't ask for all sports. I just asked for rugby, and they renewed it with the whole thing, which is bullshit, and it won't show me what my subscription rate is or what the difference is. It's the pro, which is everything. I didn't want that. I didn't ask for it. So, see, T-Mobile's increased their prices. Oh, really? I didn't see that. That sucks. But their prices have been held. They've held the line on their prices for a decade. You've been able to get the same price with T-Mobile for a decade. They pin their hopes on subscriber growth, but subscriber growth is stalled, so they've got to make more money in this environment. So I understand. Yep. Who wants you to protest? What are you talking about? Yeah, well, I'm glad that you get that connection, Arctic, but I don't get that. I don't get that. When I'm in South Africa and I'm using people's Wi-Fi, I don't get that. Through a VPN. Protests in South Africa don't achieve much. Yeah. Horror, pain she suffers beyond belief. Poor Rachel. Yeah, it's terrible, Richard. It's unbelievable. I'm talking about the Ugandan. Anyway. All right, guys. What did I miss here? Did I miss something? Even the Chidema issue, he was so biased he couldn't say anything wrong about her. About who? Chidema? Was he in favor or against her? Because I was very outspoken that she was being mistreated. If Russia joined NATO, what would that mean for the world? Well, that's never going to happen, Tion. It wouldn't mean a whole lot. Tamping down some tensions, but we see tensions inside NATO. Look at how Hungary is not on board with a lot of stuff NATO's doing. So, yeah, NATO just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's out of control, and it's not what was intended to be. It's not the purpose of NATO. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization was created as a bulwark to defend Western Europe against the expansion of communism. Remember 1948, Winston Churchill. A wall has descended over Eastern Europe, from Stettin in the Baltic to whatever in Yugoslavia. Yep. Give us the tools. We'll fight on the beaches. Yeah, no. But Churchill said an Iron Curtain has descended over Eastern Europe from Stettin in the north all the way down to wherever, Dubrovnik or wherever, somewhere like that, further south in Dubrovnik, in the Balkans. And he was right. And NATO formed as a bulwark in 1949 because of that. Its purpose was to prevent an invasion of Western Europe from the east. Well, there's no threat to Western Europe. Technically, there's no basis whatsoever to continue to have NATO. I'm not opposed to keeping NATO, because if you put people in the bloc together, they aren't going to attack each other, by and large. But the behavior of Turkey is not in the interest of NATO. The behavior of Turkey is not in the interest of modern liberal democracies. The behavior of Turkey is not in the interest of the United States. Its behavior is reprehensible, and what's been going on there under their dictator for life, Erdogan, who's been in power forever. Yeah, so NATO, instead of becoming more rational, it's becoming more ridiculous with deployments to Afghanistan, to air campaigns in Libya, just goes on and on, to participating in the Iraq conflict, none of which has anything to do with defending Europe and North America. So that's my thoughts on that. Your earlier message disappeared, Charles. I didn't see it. Big Bang Theory. I love Big Bang Theory. Yeah, I think Putin asked somebody about joining NATO. It was just ignored. No one paid much attention to it. Looked at the slither of moon out there with a star underneath it. Whoa. Well, if 3 wise men show up at your house tonight, Val, do let me know. And by the way, accept them all. Gold, frankincense, and myrrh. They're all awesome. They're all worth something, especially that gold. Ooh, $2,500 an ounce. If they give you a gold bar, hold on to it. Don't tell anybody except me. That's right. ISIL also exported oil through Turkey. Yep. Anyway. All right, folks. Let's wrap it up here. We didn't get to 100 likes. That's so depressing. Anyway, I'm going to take a break and get something to eat. Got to do a run around, collect something. But you guys take care. Appreciate you being here. And thanks for being here. This is a very interesting broadcast. Did a couple rants in here. Put a little profanity in. Talked about a lot of stuff. Tootsies. Oh, that's pretty good. Using the Dutch there. So interesting broadcast today. Thanks a lot. And tomorrow, I've got 2 rugby games. So if I do news, it'll be after the rugby, and it'll probably be abbreviated. It might be a night owls. All right? Just so you know. Saturday, 2 rugby games. Same situation. And then Sunday, we have a final rugby game. All right? For the weekend. Thanks, everybody. God bless. Take care. Appreciate you all. Take care. There we go.